I am curious, John. I feel like a lot of the stuff on YouTube that talks about gear and tech and stuff, almost always you're going to see like Canon and Sony, Canon versus Sony, and all this stuff. But as we touched on in the intro, you're a Fujifilm ambassador. And that's incredible
Mm-hmm.
because it feels in a lot of ways that Fuji is doing like some of the coolest stuff in digital cameras, but it's not hyped up as much by people that do the reviews and like do the head-to-head comparisons
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. What got you connected with Fuji in the first place?
So Fujifilm actually, so my mentor, Phil Porto, I don't know if you know him. If not, definitely check him out. So yeah, I actually used to shoot for Phil. And to give you the whole story again, so I had been shooting weddings for 2 years already. And until workshop, I didn't feel like I was really a wedding photographer. I was just like out there shooting weddings. I'm so grateful that nothing horrible happened at any weddings because I barely knew what I was doing. So 2 years of shooting weddings, literally having no idea what I'm doing. I went to workshop, and also at workshop, I met Phil. And then Phil was like, I'm looking for New York people to shoot for me because he's from there, but he lives in Florida. And I was like, cool. And we met, and it was just like, boom, there it is. He was like, yes, you're on the team. And I was like, yay. And then, so he made me second at a couple of his weddings just to learn his own style and also just teach me more about weddings. And at one of them, he shoots Fuji, and he was like, hey, just hold this in your hand. And I was like, ah. And then that's like literally, look, like I touched the Fujifilm camera, and I was like, there it is. And it was funny too, because even my wife, she always likes to back up like the back end of everything. She always makes everything like solidified. All this room, this was mainly her. And so she was like looking into Fujifilm because we both had no idea. And she was like, yeah, just the company itself, we really feel, I feel like that's you. It feels like you, who you are as a person. And I was just like, yep, sold all my Canon gear immediately and kind of just jumped in there. Because, yeah, Fuji feels good. I think that's the thing about Fujifilm. It has this feeling to it.
I think that's something a lot of people don't consider when they're thinking of gear in any creative space. It's a lot of times it's just about the analytics. It's just about the specs, all that stuff. But similarly in film photography, when you're dealing with the same, type of film in the back of every single camera, like the user experience is one of the most important things outside of the glass you have on the camera as well. So I really feel that with getting in to film photography as well. I feel there's a strong comparison to that where I love hearing you say like, I got it in my hands. And then you're like, it's that like holy grail moment where you're just like, oh, like something connected. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? With something that is going to motivate you to do something more, or it doesn't have to be
Exactly.
these specs that motivate you to do stuff, but rather how it feels and how it makes you work and is an extension of you versus how cool it is or how good it is. Because I mean,
exactly.
everybody talks about it. It's like, it doesn't matter what camera you get today. Like they're all perfectly fine to get the job done.
They're all great. That's like, I always have a hard time with people. What camera should I get? They're really all good at this point. The technology is so good. It was funny. One time I was at a camera shop, and they had a Mamiya, and I wanted to blow it so bad, but I didn't. But I was just in there, and someone came in looking for a film camera, and they're like younger. They're like, so which one has better quality? And I was just like, wow, because that's kind of where we've gotten to now because of digital photography. But again, film photography, the stock is what made it look though. So between the stock and the glass, those are probably the two main points. Other than that, the camera is a box that has a shutter that opens, and that's it. It doesn't do anything else. Maybe it has a meter, so maybe it's better than the other one because the meter's good. That's about it. And I feel that way with digital photography now too, when you start looking at it. Because again, Fujifilm's mainly crop sensor. Oh, I can't shoot weddings and crops. And I've been doing it for like 4 years, and I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. But again, you have to know your gear. You have to know it. Like I know there's certain things I can't do that a full frame camera could. I know my limits of my camera.
Mhm.
I know that I can get shots more in focus wide open because it's cropped. And so like shooting F2 is fine. Whereas, you know, full frame, a new person gets a camera, they're like, oh, why is everything out of focus? Because you just can't shoot wide open unless you really know your situation, or maybe you want it a little out of focus, or so it's one of those kind of things, like understanding the gear versus just being like, again, you know, like the Sony A1 because of 30 frames a second. Okay, if you don't shoot sports, you know, like don't come at me like my camera shoots 30 frames. When do you use that? I just took 5,000 photos of the couple walking in from the procession, and I'll cull out 2 of them.
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't miss a single moment. Well, yeah, but
you also
could
got
have
all
just
of
done that if you timed it better. Like, what?
Oh, the culling takes forever. Culling takes so long. Well, yeah, you have too many photos. But again, you know, that's cool. It's great. I love seeing the technology too. So Sony A1 gets announced and I'm hype. Am I going to buy it? No, but a 30 frame, full frame camp, that's insanity. You know, with like the Sony's autofocus on the face is great. So like for me as a photographer, I'm like, wow. But I know realistically, like I personally don't need that.